When I was hospitalized with gastroenteritis and a persistent high fever, Lily's social media account posted a new video. In the video, my fiancé, Ethan, was playfully giving her a piggyback ride, lifting her high in the air like a couple. The caption read, "Who says only couples can do piggyback rides? I don't have a boyfriend, but I have my best bro. I just asked, and he immediately made it happen. Envious? You should be." Watching the video, seeing them laughing and hugging tightly, I silently purchased a promotional traffic package for their post. Then, I called my father. "Dad, I've changed my mind. I'll come home and get married." My father's voice was filled with excitement. "That's wonderful, wonderful. It's good to have you back. You're my only daughter. You should have come home long ago. I'll take care of all the wedding arrangements." I hummed softly in agreement. The loneliness of being alone in the hospital hadn't broken me, but hearing my father's voice now made my throat tighten with emotion. As if he was afraid I'd change my mind again, he added, "Come back in a week. We'll have the engagement party first." After hanging up, I discharged myself from the hospital. Without informing Ethan, I went straight home. Opening the door, I thought I'd walked into some kind of decadent nightclub. My meticulously decorated home, prepared for our wedding, was now filled with chaos. Ethan and 3 of his friends were playing mahjong in the living room. A figure flitted between them, wearing a slinky silk slip dress, playfully teasing and leaning against each of the men in turn. It was Lily. She was clearly braless, moving like a butterfly among the men. The thin silk of her slip barely concealed the rise and fall of her chest. My sudden appearance seemed to interrupt some kind of performance. Lily stopped feeding grapes to one of the men. Ethan turned, saw me, and quickly stood up, pushing Lily, who had been sitting on his lap, away. "Ava, you're back? Weren't you still in the hospital?" I calmly replied, "Yes," closed the door, and headed towards the study. Ethan followed me, explaining, "Ava, it's just to get together with the guys today. I thought it would be better to have it here than going out, and it would help warm up the house for us." I stopped and turned to look at him. "A guys get-together? Oh, I almost forgot. Your group chat, little sweetheart and her 4 princes, right? You guys are really playing it dirty." Ethan frowned, his voice low and laced with a hint of threat. "Ava, I didn't tell you because I knew you'd misunderstand and jump to conclusions about our relationship. I brought everyone here, right to our home, not afraid of you seeing. But watch your words, show some respect, okay?" I looked at this man I had loved for 7 years. This man I was willing to fight with my family to marry. Suddenly, I felt utterly weary. "Fine," I replied softly and continued walking towards the study. There were whispers behind me. I heard Lily say in a very soft voice, "I told you not to come here. Girls are so petty and easily get upset, not like us. Seriously, you can't find many girls like Lily. That's our Lily. She's easygoing and fun." Ethan's expression darkened. "Ava, can't you just give me some face? Do you have to make a scene like this? Give me the cold shoulder. Make me look bad. Perhaps when you've endured heartache for long enough, you become numb." If it were the old me, I might have made a scene, cried, and questioned Ethan. Why didn't he care about me? Why couldn't he be more considerate of my feelings? But now, I felt no sadness at all, only a deep sense of disgust. "Ethan, what do I have to do to give you face? Go join your friends for a drink? Feed them some fruit? Sleep with them tonight?" My voice was loud enough for everyone in the living room to hear, including Lily. After a moment of silence, she suddenly seemed deeply aggrieved, whimpered a couple of times, then stood up and ran out. The other 3 men chased after her. Ethan clenched his jaw, glared at me for a long moment, and finally spat out, "Ava, how did you become so vicious? I don't even recognize you anymore." With that, he also followed them out. I didn't care. I looked around at the mess in the room. This house I had put so much effort into decorating. It was time to sell it. Ethan didn't come home that night. Unlike before, I didn't endlessly call or text him, asking when he'd be back. I had agreed with my father to return in a week. I had to resign from my job, sell the house, and end everything in the city to return to C-City. Now, there were only 6 days left. Time was tight. Early in the morning, I called a cleaning lady to come and tidy up. The cleaning lady looked at the shelves filled with souvenirs and ornaments and asked hesitantly, "Are these all being thrown away?" I glanced at them. They were souvenirs Ethan and I had brought back from various trips over the past 7 years, and some were handmade by us. "Yes, all of them. If you see anything you like, you can have them." Ethan walked in as the cleaning lady was carefully packing the souvenirs into boxes. "What's going on here?" His sudden voice startled the cleaning lady, causing her to drop a sculpture, which shattered on the floor. It was a ceramic piece Ethan had made himself, depicting the two of us. It used to be my favorite, but now, as it lay broken on the floor, I didn't even frown. I simply made sure the cleaning lady wasn't hurt and said softly, "It's okay, just throw it in the trash." Ethan frowned deeply, staring at the pile of shards for a long moment before saying in an unpleasant tone, "Ava, you're coming with me to the hospital." I was puzzled. Why? After Lily ran out yesterday, she was hit by a bicycle. If you hadn't been so sarcastic to her, she wouldn't have run out. You're going to apologize to her. I was stunned for a moment. Then a wave of sadness washed over me. This was the man I had loved for 7 years. What if I don't go? Ethan's face darkened further. If you don't go, there's no point in us getting married. I stared at Ethan silently for a long time, then suddenly smiled and said softly, "Okay, I'll go with you." On the way to the hospital, my father called. "Ava, I've booked your plane ticket and sent it to your phone. Should I arrange a driver to take you to the airport?" "No need. I can get to the airport myself." As soon as I hung up, Ethan asked urgently, "Where are you going?" Seeing his slightly flustered expression, I answered almost without thinking, "The company is sending me on a business trip." He didn't ask any further questions. We arrived at the hospital in silence. Inside the ward, Lily's left leg was in a cast, and she was sitting on the bed. As soon as Ethan walked in, she called out sweetly, "Ethan, I need to use the restroom." But when she saw me, her expression became awkward. "Ava, what are you doing here? Didn't I hire a caregiver for you?" Ethan said, sounding annoyed. "Why are you alone here? Where's the caregiver?" "Oh, the caregiver worked all night. I thought you'd be back soon, so I let her go rest." Ethan's tone was exasperated. "You're just too kind. Ava, please sit down." I told him it wasn't necessary, but Ethan insisted you come and apologize to me. "I don't care about any of that." Lily's eyes were slightly red. "Even though what you said was hurtful, you really didn't need to come and apologize. I just hope you don't misunderstand. Ethan, the few of us, we've been messing around like this since we were kids. They don't even see me as a woman. We're all just bros, haha." I didn't say anything, just watched her performance quietly. "And you don't need to feel guilty about my injury. It's just a broken leg." Ethan's the one who's worried, saying I need to recover properly. "I'm as strong as an ox. What recovery?" I pinched the soft flesh of my palm with my fingertips. My chest felt hollow, as if I'd lost all feeling. "Are you finished?" I asked, looking at her with a faint smile. "Finished? Is it my turn to speak now? I'm here to tell you that I don't want Ethan anymore. I find him disgusting. If you like him, you can have him." The room fell silent. Ethan's breathing became heavy. He grabbed my arm, his face grim. "Ava, what are you saying? Do I need to repeat myself?" My tone was calm. "I said I find you disgusting, repulsive. I don't want you anymore." "You?" Ethan was so angry his face turned red. "What right do you have to say you don't want me? You were the one who chased me." He was right. In my relationship with Ethan, I had always been the one chasing him. 7 years ago, after my mother died in an accident, I deliberately chose a university in this city just to get far away from home because I was angry at my dad. On the first day of school, in a torrential downpour, a pair of fair, slender hands held an umbrella over me. From that moment on, I fell in love with him at first sight. After painstakingly finding out Ethan's name, I vowed to win him over, this aloof and unattainable man. To this day, I still remember the thrill I felt when he first kissed me. Later, when I insisted on marrying him, my father was furious. But he couldn't dissuade me, and he even bought a house for us in this city in advance, decorating it according to my preferences. I just hadn't expected that Ethan's aloofness was only reserved for me. With Lily, he was passionate and attentive, showering her with care. I smiled. When you love someone, you chase them. When you dislike them, you discard them. Isn't that just human nature? Lily said indignantly. Ava, how can you hurt Ethan like this? Everyone in our hometown knows you're getting married at the end of the year. Now you're saying you don't want Ethan, you want to break up with him. What about Ethan? I smiled again. Free from the shackles of that love, I found them utterly ridiculous. What about him? Why don't you marry him? Birds of a feather flock together, right? The veins on Ethan's hand, still holding my arm, bulged. Ava, say that again. I'll say it 100 times, it's still the same. I lifted my high-heeled shoe and kicked him hard, then walked straight out of the ward. Ava, if you walk out like this, we're over. I won't forgive you. Don't regret it. Ethan shouted after me, but I didn't pay him the slightest attention. Did he think I was still the same Ava who would stay up all night comforting him if he was even slightly unhappy? I walked away without looking back. Before going home, I went to a real estate agency and listed the house for sale below market value, just to sell it quickly. After dinner, I saw Ethan when I walked in. He was sitting on the sofa, his eyes red, looking at me. Ava, you want to break up with me? I suddenly felt that this man was just pathetic. The me who had loved and chased Ethan before was probably just as pathetic. Seeing my lack of reaction, he walked up to me. Ava, Lily and I are completely innocent. Nothing happened between us. Why don't you believe me? Lily's different from other girls. I just treat her like a guy. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. Ethan, for over 2 years, how many times have I argued with you because of Lily? I won't even mention it. You say Lily is different. Is it because she's your little sweetheart? Is it because she wears mini skirts and black stockings and dances provocatively for you guys? Or is it because she can wear a slip dress and party all night with you and your friends, and then sleep together in a pile? Ethan's face was ugly. He was silent for a long time. Then he took out his phone. He opened their group chat. If you care so much about this, can I leave the group? I didn't speak. After Ethan left the group, his phone started ringing incessantly. Ava, the person I love has always been you. Please don't be mad at me, okay? I felt a surge of irony. This kind of hurt, inflicted so freely in the name of love, I didn't want it anymore. To this day, he hadn't even asked me once if my stomach still hurt. I didn't want to argue with him anymore. Once I left this city, I would never have any contact with him again. I nodded. Okay, you should answer your phone. He seemed a little happier. Then wait for me. I'll go buy your favorite spicy crayfish. With that, he grabbed his phone and hurried out. He had forgotten that I hadn't eaten crayfish in a long time, especially not the spicy kind. Ethan was gone all night again. The next day, I saw Lily's post on social media. Boyfriends are nothing compared to bros. If one serving of crayfish doesn't make me happy, then 2 will do the trick. Cheers. I had just liked her post when Ethan called. Ava, Lily's alone at the hospital. It's inconvenient for her, so I remembered myself, lying in the hospital for 3 days, and smiled. It's okay, do what you need to do. She'll be discharged in a couple of days. I might not come home for the next few days. That's fine. Maybe I agreed too readily. He sent me another text message. I love you, Ava. Don't overthink it. I sneered and deleted the message. After completing my resignation, declining my colleague's offer to throw me a farewell party, I went back to the real estate agency. After lowering the price again, I quickly sold the house. Everything had been going smoothly these past few days, except that Ethan hadn't appeared. He was active every day on Lily's social media. After Lily was discharged, he helped her take time off from work and took care of her at her place. He bought her groceries, cooked for her, bought her bubble tea, desserts, and late-night snacks. He was incredibly attentive. Until the day I left, Ethan came back. He walked in as I was doing the final packing. Seeing the empty house, he was clearly stunned. It feels like a lot of things are missing. I hummed casually. Ava, I need to talk to you about something. I forced a smile. Because of Lily's social media posts, I already knew what he wanted to talk to me about. When are you leaving? Ava, please don't be angry, okay? I'm not angry. You don't need to discuss it with me. Just go if you need to. Lily's ex-boyfriend keeps harassing her at her place. If I don't help her, no one will. I'll go back with her and resolve this issue once and for all. I no longer questioned him about what right he had to interfere in Lily's affairs. I simply replied, okay. Because of my calm demeanor, Ethan was stunned for a long time. He wanted to hug me, but I stepped away. He hesitantly lowered his hands. Ava, I'll spend some quality time with you today. What do you want to eat tonight? I'll cook for you. I didn't answer, because I knew Lily would call him away soon. Before he even entered, Lily had sent me a text message. You don't cherish such a good man as Ethan. Don't blame me for taking him away. Sure enough, Ethan's phone rang soon after. I looked up at him. You should go if you have something to do. Ava, wait for me. I'll be back soon. Ethan. He stopped and turned back to look at me. I smiled. Goodbye. At that moment, he looked a little panicked, but he controlled himself. I'll be back as soon as possible. After Ethan left, I put on my small backpack, took a box of his belongings downstairs to the courier station, and sent it directly to his company. Before turning off my phone, I sent him a text message. Ethan, let's break up. This time, it was truly goodbye, Ethan. A few hours later, the plane landed in Sea City. As soon as I walked out of the airport, I saw my father. Since I told him about marrying Ethan over 6 months ago, He had been so angry he hadn't seen me. Now, he seemed to have lost weight. His big belly had shrunk considerably. The pent-up grievances and resentment of the past few days melted into tears that streamed down my face as soon as I saw him. "Dad," my father patted my back. "It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back." I sobbed uncontrollably. I realized that all along, I hadn't been without grievance or sadness. It was just that I knew Ethan no longer cared, so crying and making a scene would only make me look unpleasant. The driver drove the car, and my father and I sat in the back. "Ava, the engagement party is in 3 days. Tomorrow, our two families will have dinner together first." I nodded. My family had a small business in Sea City. For families like ours, arranged marriages were quite common. I had once thought I would be an exception, breaking free from this circle and finding my own happiness. But I hadn't expected that, after all the twists and turns, I would end up back where I started. I looked out the window silently. My father spoke again. "Ava, I'm getting old. I just want you to stay by my side. If, after meeting him tomorrow, you really don't like him, just tell me. I'll take care of it." I turned and saw the gray hair at my father's temples. The sour feeling in my chest returned. My father was getting old. When my mother died in a car accident, my father was on a business trip out of town and couldn't get back in time. He had been alone all these years. So when I told him I was going to live with Ethan in that other city, he must have been very sad. After I got together with Ethan, because of his insecurity, he had never even come to Sea City to see my father. Thinking of this, I pushed aside my melancholy and clung to his arm, acting coquettishly. "Dad, I'll listen to you. I won't leave again." But I never imagined that the person I was to be engaged to was actually Asher. So, the next day at the dinner, when I saw that it was him, I was completely stunned. Even after both sets of parents had left the room, I was still stammering. "Senior Asher, you? How come?" Asher smiled gently. "You're wondering how someone like me would need an arranged marriage, right?" I nodded internally. This was Asher, the only son of a Sea City business tycoon. Not only that, but he was also a senior to both Ethan and me. As a prominent figure at Capital University, the number of people who admired him during his time there was, well, it goes without saying. Moreover, my heart sank. At Capital University, my aggressive pursuit of Ethan was probably known to everyone. When Ethan joined the student council, Asher was the president. To chase Ethan, I treated the student council members to coffee and desserts every day. Thinking about this, I found it hard to meet Asher's eyes. Just as Asher was about to speak, my phone rang. I felt like I'd been rescued and immediately picked it up. It was the buyer of my apartment in the city. I frowned, apologized softly to Asher, and answered the voice call. Ethan's furious shouts came through the speaker. "Ava, what the hell is this? It's one thing for you to block me on WeChat and block my calls, but now you've actually sold the apartment? Wasn't that our wedding home? You didn't even tell me. Quit your job. Come back immediately and explain yourself." Asher was sitting right across from me, so he could clearly hear Ethan's rant. My face flushed crimson. Being berated so shamelessly by my ex in front of my fiancé, I wanted to find a hole and crawl into it. I quickly stood up, apologized again to Asher, and went outside the restaurant to take the call. I could hear noise on the other end of the line. I heard Ethan arguing with the buyer of my apartment. He was demanding that the buyer return the souvenirs I had already disposed of. The buyer took the phone and said in an unpleasant tone, "Miss Lynn, I paid you good money for the apartment. I hope you can resolve these issues and not make things difficult for us." I felt very apologetic. After sincerely apologizing to the buyer, I unblocked Ethan's number. He answered the call incredibly quickly. "Ava, if you don't give me an explanation today, our wedding will be postponed." They're right. You've been spoiled since childhood. You're self-centered, controlling. Everything has to be your way, and you throw a tantrum if it's not. My chest tightened, and I suddenly felt like I was back in that city, that suffocating feeling of not being able to breathe properly returning. Taking a deep breath, I retorted sarcastically, "Ethan, is that Lily who's saying that? Do you have to be so jealous of Lily? How many times do I have to tell you before you believe me? I don't see her as a woman. And you're actually using a breakup to threaten me? Don't you think that's ridiculous, Ava? You're just trying to force me to make me revolve around you and only you. That's your goal. And you're willing to sell the house to threaten me to achieve your goal. If it had been the old me, I probably would have felt hurt and upset, and I would have cried and argued with him. But now, apart from utter disgust, I couldn't feel any other emotion. I didn't want to get into it with him anymore. The past 7 years, I considered myself blind and foolish, loving someone like him. Ethan, are you deaf? I already told you we're broken up. What gives you the right to make a scene? What does the house have to do with you? I bought it with my own money. I don't need to inform you if I sell it. As for the wedding, do whatever you want. Whether you postpone it or change the bride, it's up to you. I don't care, and you don't need to tell me. Ethan was furious, his voice trembling through the phone. Ava, I've already compromised for you time and time again. I even left the group chat. What more do you want from me? I sneered. Ethan, in my eyes, we're over. I've already mailed your personal belongings from the house to your company. If you harass the buyers again, I'll have them call the police. And don't contact me again. The best ex should be like a dead person. After saying that, I hung up. Returning to Asher, I did a lot of mental preparation. But as soon as I sat down, I heard him say, Ava. He paused. Can I call you that? I nodded dumbly. I know everything about you and Ethan. It's all in the past. If you're willing, I hope the engagement party the day after tomorrow can proceed as planned. I'm very happy that it's you. The refusal I had prepared in my heart was stuck in my throat. Asher smiled again and said, You won't run away from the wedding, will you? Me. You know, Ava, our family, the Sterling family, is well known in C-City. If you run away during the wedding, I'll be very embarrassed. He even winked at me. I couldn't help but laugh, and the heaviness in my chest instantly dissipated. I suddenly thought that perhaps marrying Asher wouldn't be a bad choice after all. Money, sometimes, can solve a lot of problems. For instance, right now, my engagement party with Asher was rushed and hectic. But everything was arranged perfectly. From the venue for the banquet to the smallest details like the wedding candies, everything was taken care of. The day after the dinner, we went to the bridal shop to try on wedding dresses. I stared at myself in the mirror, wearing the wedding dress. Asher walked up beside me, his eyes full of admiration. Don't you like the dress? If you don't, we can try another one. I think it looks beautiful, but you can take your time. We have all day. Asher was very close to me. Suddenly, I remembered the last time I tried on wedding dresses with Ethan. He was very busy with work, and almost all of his time after work was given to his friends, especially Lily. After the wedding date was set, knowing he was busy, I found a bridal shop in advance. I even tried on many styles myself and found the ones I liked. Finally, on the day he was free, I excitedly went to the bridal shop with him. My heart was full of anticipation and sweetness, and I showed him my favorite styles, one by one. When I was trying on the third dress, he seemed to have been holding back for a long time, and he interrupted me with an impatient look on his face. Ava, do we really need so many dresses? I heard Lily say that taking wedding photos is actually optional. And you're changing so much, it's making my eyes dizzy. Can't you just pick one? At that moment, my emotions collapsed. I couldn't control myself and shouted at him. Lily, who is she to you? You always have her name on your lips. If you like her so much, marry her. Why are you marrying me? To this day, I still can't forget Ethan's disgusted expression. Faced with my emotional breakdown, he simply apologized calmly to the bridal shop assistant. We won't try on any more dresses today. I have something to do at the company. Let's go. I'll take you home first. Ethan probably thought that my saying I wanted to break up was just a temporary outburst of anger. He didn't know that my disappointment had accumulated little by little. These little accumulations eventually added up to the courage I needed to leave him. As I walked out of the bridal shop, I stumbled because of low blood sugar. Asher was beside me and immediately caught me. I smiled and thanked him, but then I noticed that he had taken my hand. I tried to pull it back, but he held it even tighter. It's not excessive for me to hold my fiancé's hand, is it? I didn't move, letting his large hand firmly enclose mine. Indeed, we were getting engaged tomorrow. There was no need to be coy. Asher was tall, handsome, and gentlemanly. I suddenly felt a surge of anticipation for the future. I should also look forward and not dwell on the past. He dropped me off at my doorstep. I watched him leave, and just as I was about to enter, someone grabbed my hand. I turned around and saw Ethan. He looked incredibly exhausted, his wrinkled shirt accentuating his pale face. Ava, who was that person who just dropped you off? I was startled by the sudden sight of Ethan. After calming down, my heart grew even colder. I had told him my address long ago. When our feelings were at their strongest, I even sent him my home address on WeChat, telling him to come to my house and propose. But in all these years, he had never come even once. Later, when he thought I was talking too much, his response was, Ava, I'm not capable enough right now. Going there would only make your father look down on me. I felt sorry for his insecurity, so I stopped mentioning it, even though I had always looked forward to the day when I could come back with him and have dinner and tea with my father. But that was all in the past. Now, what was he doing here? What are you doing here? I made myself very clear. Ethan's familiar impatience appeared on his face again. Ava, please stop being difficult, okay? Lily's ex-boyfriend's issue has already been a huge headache for me. I finally dealt with it, and when I came back, you'd sold the house. I went to your company, and you'd quit. You don't discuss anything with me. Now I've come all this way for you, and you still want to be difficult? I'm really tired. Can't you just stop? Put away your princess attitude. I laughed in anger. Ethan, are you sick? Can you please stop acting so aggrieved? I'll tell you one last time. You and I, we're over. Do you understand? And I'm getting engaged tomorrow. Please don't contact me again. Engaged? Ethan exploded. Ava, you need to have some limits even when you're trying to make a scene. Are you just finding someone random to make me jealous? I don't know how I put up with it before, but now, I don't want to say another word to him. Think whatever you want. Get out of my way, I'm going home. Since I'm here, I might as well see your father. Didn't you always want me to come back with you? Looking at his condescending and patronizing demeanor, I sneered. My father doesn't think much of you. His face suddenly turned pale, and his eyes showed hurt, but I didn't care. The old me, afraid of his insecurity, didn't even dare to mention him coming home with me. Now, seeing him uncomfortable because of the disparity between our families, I felt a sense of satisfaction. I walked around him and went straight inside. On the day of the engagement, Asher came to pick me up. I was wearing a white gown, and he looked at me with a soft gaze. I felt a little embarrassed and asked him, "Do I look okay?" He walked up to me. "Beautiful. Ava, I regret it. I shouldn't have agreed to just an engagement. I want to marry you and take you home right now." My face flushed red instantly. He took my hand and led me out of the house. "Ava, you're actually going to marry someone else behind my back." A sudden roar startled me. I turned around, and it was Ethan again. I was furious. He was like a leech. Was he insane? He rushed towards me, reaching out to grab me, but Asher immediately pushed him away. Ethan recognized Asher. "Senior Asher, it's you. You coveted my girlfriend back in school, and now you're trying to steal her away." I looked back at Asher, puzzled. Him? Back in school? Asher shielded me behind him. It's normal for someone to admire someone as wonderful as Ava. But she's my fiancé now. Ethan grabbed Asher's collar, about to throw a punch. I shouted at him. "Ethan, have you lost your mind? I already told you very clearly. We're broken up. What's the point of you making a scene like this now?" My gaze was cold and disdainful, a look Ethan had never seen before. He flinched slightly. "No, it's not like that, Ava. You love me so much. How can we break up? It's all a misunderstanding. When I went back to our hometown with Lily, weren't you waiting for me at home?" He held his head, seeming to be in pain. "How could you be so cruel, just leaving like that?" "I'm cruel," I scoffed. "I'm not cruel, I was blind. Get out of my way, we're leaving." I pulled Asher, about to leave, but Ethan took another step forward. "Ava, please don't do this to me, okay? I can't lose you. If you're using him to make me jealous, you've succeeded. You've loved me for so many years, I don't believe you can live without me." I looked back at Asher. His head was slightly lowered, and he was holding my hand tightly. He seemed a little sad. My heart trembled slightly. I turned around, hugged Asher's waist, and kissed him on the corner of his lips. I only intended to do it for Ethan to see, but unexpectedly, Asher's eyes darkened, and he deepened the kiss. When we separated, he held me tightly in his arms and said hoarsely to Ethan, "Can you get lost now?" Ethan's hand trembled, his face pale as snow. "Ava and I have been together for so many years. We've done everything a couple does. Do you really not care about any of that?" Asher suddenly let go of me and punched Ethan hard in the face. Ethan fell to the ground, unprepared. Asher's tone was as cold as ice. "If I hear another word of disrespect towards my fiancé from you, I'll make you regret ever setting foot in Sea City." The engagement ceremony went smoothly. Before Asher put the ring on my finger, I asked him, "Are you sure you don't mind?" He looked at me deeply. "Ava, my only regret is that I didn't shamelessly steal you away back at Capital University." He leaned down and kissed me on the lips. A week after the engagement, Asher took me to get our marriage certificate. As I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I was still a little dazed. Our two families had originally agreed that we would first get engaged to cultivate our relationship and then get married. But after only a week, he said we had cultivated enough and wanted to get the certificate. I didn't seem to have any reason to refuse. Asher was wonderful. Our wedding date was set, and our wedding photos dominated the headlines of social media for days. The wedding was grand, held at the best hotel in Sea City. But unexpectedly, as soon as I stepped into the hotel, I saw Ethan again. He was wearing a black suit, looking haggard, holding a bouquet of flowers, and kneeling on one knee before me. Ava, I know I was wrong. Please don't punish me, okay? Come back to me, please. I looked at him coldly. He gave a bitter smile. You once said that if you were angry with me and wanted to marry someone else, you hoped I would come and steal you back. I'm here, Ava. Please come with me, okay? I know about Lily's little schemes now. I was blinded by her, and I made you sad. I swear it will never happen again. I'll listen to you. Whatever you want, it's fine. Ethan looked at me cautiously, his expression full of expectation. I walked towards him. His eyes lit up with joy and nervousness. I stood in front of him, lifted my foot, and stomped my high heel hard on his foot. Ethan, your persistence is only making me disgusted. Please, from now on, don't appear in front of me again. I called the security guards. Before he was dragged away, he kept calling my name. But what did that have to do with me anymore? I took a tissue and gently wiped a little stain off my high-heeled shoe. I turned around and walked forward without looking back, heading towards the new journey of my life. Epilogue. From then on, I never saw Ethan again. I heard from old friends that he eventually married Lily. In a one-night stand, Lily got pregnant with his child. She brought both families' parents to the city and forced him to marry her. When I heard this, I just smiled. Birds of a feather flocked together. Wasn't that perfect? I didn't pay attention to these irrelevant matters anymore, because I was pregnant. My pregnancy wasn't going well, so I was confined to the house. One day, I was sitting on the sofa, eating supplements and watching TV. Suddenly, I saw Ethan and Lily on the TV. Besides a fleeting glimpse of a crime scene, there was a reporter's report. A man, identified as Ethan, returned from a business trip to find his wife, Lily, engaging in intimate acts with 3 of his friends in their home. In a fit of rage, he severely injured the 3 men's private parts. Later, the man discovered that the child his wife had given birth to was not his, and he brutally murdered his wife. The man is now in police custody. I watched and ate with relish. I heard the sound of the door opening. It was Asher returning. I turned off the TV and stood up to greet him. Darling, you're back. Asher hugged me and kissed my cheek. What were you watching? Why did you stop? Some irrelevant TV show. It was pretty boring.